Kia moves it through midfield for Drago, but it came right to Corwin, who takes it out of the air into the Detroit zone. Steve McCall runs it out of danger and goes right around Drago. Now up the right side, he's got Corwin, a streaking Earl Paris. He didn't see him on the right side, and the neon numbers finally find Murtaugh on the right side. He takes a hard shot, blocked by Yarouche all the way to midfield. Crawford sets it right back to Joey. Murtaugh heads to the top of the arc, dribbles through some traffic now to the near boards. Jams it in front on one hop. P.J. Johns beat Corwin to it. And the Pittsburgh keeper counting out his time as he scoops it away.
You see Joey many times in this game has cut across the middle with no success. Nobody to leave the ball to, nobody running into space attacking the goal. And that's what the Neon need in order to create something off of Joey Murtaugh cutting across the goal mouth or the top of the arc in that situation.
To the top of the Detroit arc, a foul will go against Pittsburgh again. Bobby Johnston called this time as he and Corwin got tangled up. And now a blue card will go against Bobby Johnston. He has picked up the misconduct.
But still not a penalty called on a pure foul. It's either somebody arguing later or a handball call on the goalie. You could see that Johnson came from behind. Noel was dead set on getting that ball until Johnson fouled him from behind.
So with the misconduct, Johnson will sit for a pair, but as Joel mentions, it will not affect the player situation on the field, so it remains 5-on-5 and not a power play for Detroit.
Although they're playing with just 4 players now. Pittsburgh, there goes another player, Whitman, on the field. And I'll tell you, it's no holiday when you have a power play situation versus Pittsburgh, because they rank 3rd in the league with 68% success rate against odd man situations.
3:39 to go in the third. Pittsburgh has the only goal of the quarter, and they have tied it at 3. Another low-scoring battle between these two. No real surprise there. Pittsburgh downing Detroit earlier this season at the Palace 5-2. And then at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, the Stingers were 4-1 winners. So not a lot of offense when these two teams get together. Here's Wagstaff. He's got a man. It's Corwin, and a save made by P.J. Johns. The rebound is loose, driven in by Crawford, and P.J. Johns sitting on it.
Andy Wagstaff and Noel Corwin once again creating great opportunities for the Neons.
And Johns goes long down the left side for Drago. Parrott stepped in front of him, upended him. No call. Play continues. Murtaugh sends it to the near side for Hormos as it begins to be a little bit of up and down. Hormos will pick up the foul as he had a hold of Jason Davis's jersey as it came to the near side.
I'll tell you, we got a real barn burner going here tonight in the Palace. This is going to be a struggle all the way through, and it's going to be a tight ball game in the last few minutes here, I'm sure, John.
David Moxham at midfield for Pittsburgh for Jason Davis on the near side, being marked by Murtaugh, sends it down. Now for Leite. He's got Hormos on his back, and Hormos picks up the foul.
I'm not sure what the call was there. Leite lost control of the ball. Hormos stepped around him and picked it up.
So a free kick from the right side of the Detroit arc for Pittsburgh. Jason Davis sets it back for Leite, drives the left footer off the dasher, and swatting the carom away was Kluba before it could come to the front of his net.
Good positioning by Kluba to take that deflection off the boards and deal with it.
Back come the Neon as Murtaugh finally gets it through for Earl Paris. He's got Chapman behind the defense and Terry Rowe streaking down the right side, but Earl held on, or excuse me, it was Terry Rowe who held on to it a little too long. He didn't get it over to Paris. Now Paris has to hustle back and catch Drago, who fires it wide.
Boy, can he get a shot off quickly, huh?
Give credit to Paris, who somehow got back, although he didn't get in the way of the shot. That should be a handball on David Moxham through the midfield, and it is. Paris didn't get in the way of that shot, but he got back quickly as well. Of course, we've extolled the virtues of Earl's speed all year. It didn't really come as much of a surprise that he could get back.
You need to find a midfield player. There's Wagstaff to try and deal the ball to and move it up the field on the ground.
He leaves it back for Kluba, who takes a look and drives it long over the top for Chapman. One hop off the dasher, and Andy's got it in the Pittsburgh zone. Quickly double team, jams it off the boards, and there's P.J. Johns waiting. And he guns it the length of the field. The race is on Sanchez and McCall. McCall gets in the way, allowing Kluba to play it. Kluba wanted to set it for Crawford, but he came in too close to his keeper, and didn't give him the space he needed.
Well, Steve did a real nice job of cutting off Sanchez in that situation, running the ankle down on him, and making a nice play that Kluba could do it very easily.
The long home run pass from Kluba intended for Chapman does not work, and now just over a minute to go in the third quarter, tied at 3.
Don't forget, Kluba does have 4 assists so far this year. That's an incredible stat for a goalkeeper. He has more assists than some of the players who play in the field regularly.
He's certainly capable. We see Chris Duke for the first time this evening for Pittsburgh, and he sets it to Kia, who spun it back for Drago. His shot went off the board's short side, missing the mark. Whitman at the Detroit red line has it now for the Stingers. Trying to get it to Kia, that broken up by Crawford, and the young Neon defender just chips it on one hop back into the Pittsburgh arc, and P.J. Johns had a little trouble with it as it bounced high on him, but he got it away for Chris Pryor.
Well, P.J. Johns has shut the door down this half so far on the Neon. He's done a marvelous job of keeping the ball in front of him.
Chris Duke's pass intended for Drago. He didn't have the energy to go get it, but Earl Paris did. Tackled away from him by Kia, and it comes over to the near boards.
Neon need all their players running up and down the pitch together. I see a lot of standing going on out there, and that is not the way they're going to be able to win this game. They need to be all running together up and down, offensively and defensively.
Inside half a minute now in this the third quarter, and racing in to get a piece of P.J. Johns' clearing attempt was Bobby Harmon. That over the glass and out of play. Johns dodging a bullet there. 21 seconds to go in the third, tied at 3.
How do you top your best sale ever? Have the biggest Chrysler Plymouth summer clearance ever. Now lease Plymouth Neon for just $179 a month. Or get 1.9% APR. Or $600 cash back. Plus factory-to-dealer incentives and easy down payments. We hear you. We've got your number. The biggest Chrysler Plymouth summer clearance ever. It won't last long. Only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Am I blue? Am I blue?
There are all kinds of blue people, families and single people, young and old, each with their own needs. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan offers all kinds of plans. So no matter what you choose, you can still be blue. And that can make you feel pretty good. You feel better if you're blue.
Am I blue?
For all the different cars in the world, there's really only one tire store, Bell Tire, because we carry a full line of Kelly tires, like the Navigator 800F, starting at $39.99. What's more, the service at Bell Tire is fast and friendly. And that's not about to change. Bell Tires, American Car Care Centers.
This copyrighted broadcast is the sole and exclusive property of the Continental Indoor Soccer League Incorporated and the Detroit Neon. No portion of this program may be broadcast, telecast, transmitted, rebroadcast, copied, or used in any manner for any purpose without the prior written consent of the Continental Indoor Soccer League Incorporated and the Detroit Neon.
Andy Wagstaff with his left foot slipping the ball through to Noel Corwin. P.J. Johns comes out quickly, cuts the angle, and you can see Noel then trips P.J. Johns again. Johns catches the ball between his legs and smothers it.
Looked like a hockey goalie closing the door on it as he lay on the ball. P.J. Johns keeping Pittsburgh in it, tied at 3. And the final seconds of the third quarter ticking away, but with 6 seconds even to go. A free kick for Pittsburgh and a chance to set something up to maybe take the lead into the fourth quarter.
Got to be careful here. Drago triggering a free kick, and he is so dangerous. Look for Kia here, as he is, to try and slip the ball, or maybe Duke in the corner.
Drago just takes the long shot off the dasher, came back off of the head of Chris Duke and bounces harmlessly to the far boards as the third period comes to a close. A 15-minute game, maybe more. Tied at 3 after 3 at the Palace.
We were looking for the most... It's an amazing feat. And of course, it's Price Pfister who engineered it. A never-before fusion of style, technology, and price. Featuring a fantastic lifetime valve that makes fail-proof faucets both possible and affordable. So fail-proof, they'll work flawlessly forever. Fail-proof, affordable, forever yours, Price Pfister. The fabulous faucet with the funny name.
Something happens when you read the Wall Street Journal every business day. You start seeing opportunities where you never saw them before. See for yourself. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal. The Journal keeps you right at the heart of what's going on in business. Call now for the Journal and get your free guide to planning your financial future. Facts you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free. Call now toll free. 800-233-2700. That's 800-233-2700.
On Channel 11 News at 6, we talk a lot about neighborhood news. I want to know what's going on close to home. That's where we live. On Channel 11 News at 6, you'll find a neighborhood story around every corner.
Local kids doing good things for the neighborhood and their community.
It's warm, it's from the heart. Looking for neighborhood news coverage you can count on?
Pittsburgh is my community.
I care what's going on right here in my city. Look to Channel 11 News at 6 for more news, for more neighborhoods, more often.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
This Thursday, the Neon next home action. It's against the Dallas Sidekicks at 7:30. Call 810-377-0100 or stop by the Palace box office. The stat picture after 3 quarters has leveled out, so to speak, as Pittsburgh seemed to take it to Detroit in that the 3rd quarter.
The attack time is now evened up. Stingers actually have a second advantage. Neon did not score a goal in that quarter, and you know the 3rd and 4th quarters this season have not been good quarters for the Neon.
Speaking of scoring goals in the 3rd quarter, Pittsburgh did all that there was. Unassisted Drago at 3:10, and we are all even at 3. In fact, the Neon have scored just once since the 1st quarter, and that has to be a concern for Dave Baker and the brain trust of the Detroit Neon, because they have seen long droughts against P.J. Johns and the Pittsburgh Stingers before. Only 1 goal in the last 30 minutes of soccer, as Chris Duke races up the right side into the Detroit end, fires it across the arc, but had no one there to receive it at the far post.
Interesting tactic by Stinger coach Paul Child to hold Chris Duke out for the first half of the game. Now he's got some fresh legs, and he's going to play him a lot here in the last quarter.
Virtually the first 3 quarters, because Duke only got 2 shifts, both of them late in the 3rd quarter. Now Drago at the top of the arc has it tackled away, pulls it back, and it just misses on the near side. Kluba turns and grabs the rebound. Scooping it ahead for Wagstaff, who was felled by the pass as it was behind him. I think he may have caught the seam of the carpet right there as well, and has to play it back to Kluba. Through midfield, Jason Davis 3 hops it high to Leite, and Pittsburgh will drop it back now to Tim Whitman.
And the ball came to Duke as he was trying to get off. Luckily for the Stingers, he was able to catch it and pass it off to Whitman.
David Moxham up the right side, squeaks past Crawford, fires it in front, and that's off of McCall. Out of play. We're just over a minute into the 4th quarter, tied at 3 at the Palace.
Once again, a great defensive play by Steve McCall. Johnny on the spot, cutting that ball from going across the middle.
Drago, we've seen this so many times before, will set the free kick. He has 2 of the 3 goals tonight for Pittsburgh. Moves it into Whitman, and reaching out with the right hand and then getting the left foot on it is John Kluba. Sanchez will rag it all the way back to his keeper, P.J. Johns, who's been very busy this evening. Tonight's broadcast being brought to you by Pontiac Osteopathic Hospital. Pass up the right boards, comes through to Sanchez. He has McCall on his back as he tries to turn out of the right corner. Steve pins him off as he pinched it off up the boards and then sends it to midfield where Chapman is waiting. Andy has Murtaugh with him, now moves it to midfield. Crawford heads up on the right side to join him. And Andy tells him to circle back behind him because that's where he wants to go.
Well, he was looking for somebody to do a takeover with him, it looked like, and go towards the middle of the field because he was going to cut to the right. If Crawford came to his left, he was going to be able to slice right up the middle, right towards the arc there, but he never did that.
Instead, Whitman for Pittsburgh back through midfield, and the Neon give him room. Sets it off to Pryor on the left side. Kenny Pryor pirouettes away, doing a 360 on Chris Crawford, but Crawford still blocked his shot. Now again, it's Pryor on the left boards. The most goals these teams have combined for in a single game this season is 7, and they're going to be forced to score that many tonight before they're allowed out of this building, no matter what.
This could be an overtime-type game tonight.
Now Corwin takes it away and finds Bobby Harmon through midfield. Harmon couldn't trap the pass, otherwise he had an angle. Now sets it for Earl Paris to the right side. This is Hormos. Inside the Pittsburgh red line. Hormos wants to leave it. Instead sends it back across for Terry Rowe. Being marked by Drago. Rowe's shot deflects into the arc. Comes, gets his own rebound. Twice gets a shot away. But the last time it just bounced off his shin right to P.J. Johns.
Terry was trying and trying to get that ball in the net.
The old basketball analogy, just kept following his shot.
Exactly. He kept following the shot and trying to make some offense here.
Chris Duke, with those fresh legs, has it tackled away by Corwin, and P.J. Johns will win the race to it and then chip it the length of the field. Headed back to midfield and then right back to Earl Paris, who bicycle kicks it over everybody to center circle where Corwin finds Harmon.
And Bobby has to rag the ball a little bit as changes are made.
He's able to find the open space, though. The changes are completed, and now he finds Steve McCall across the field. Coming back, Crawford will send it all the way for Kluba. 11:20 to go in regulation, tied at 3 at the Palace. Detroit and the Pittsburgh Stingers. Over the top, Chapman at the top of the arc, got it, but Chris Duke had a hold of him from behind, and that'll be a foul.
And he really did have a good hold of his chest there, and he pulled Andy away, so Andy couldn't get what he wanted on him.
A slow start for Pittsburgh. Neon started fast, relatively speaking, as the team's quarter scoring summaries seem to mirror one another.
Neon have not scored a goal in quite a while. This is the trap they fell into earlier in the season against Pittsburgh.
It was midway through the second when Wagstaff scored, I believe, 7:03 of the second. And Harmon makes a bid off the free kick set up by Chapman, and McCall makes a bid as well. But Johns, diving to his left, got his hands on that.
Well, Steve, who has an assist so far and a goal, made Johns dive for that ball to keep it out of the Pittsburgh net.
Chris Crawford at midfield finds Chapman, who chests it back to Harmon. Now back to Andy. Left puts it off the dasher. Wagstaff got to it, took it out of the air, but didn't get much on it as he missed the mark.
Good positioning, though, by Wagstaff to come and attack the goal and get his foot on that ball.
Outlet pass broken up by Paris, and he sends it to the corner, and Johns beat Chapman to that as Earl had just jumped off the Detroit bench, and he stepped in front of PJ's pass. Now McCall frees it up for Earl Paris at midfield. Earl takes it top of the arc, left puts it wide, and the long rebound comes all the way back to the Detroit defender.
Good play by Earl there. You know, now the Neon are picking up the pace of this game. You can see they're on the attack once again, and we have not seen that in at least a quarter and a half of play.
Just over 10 minutes to go in the game, 3-3. Kluba sends it long over the top, off the glass, wide of the mark. Chapman bicycle kicks it across the arc, but nobody there. Murtaugh unable to take it away from Pryor, who moves it through midfield, bounces off the back of Hormoz's heel. And now Wagstaff again trying to set Chapman low. Got the good bounce off the corner boards. Andy trying to move it in front. Did, but dragged his foot a bit and didn't get his foot on it.
Well, Andy is not able to turn. They keep coming towards him. 3 players are crunching down on him, and he's not able to turn and get much on the ball because anytime he penetrates, they're aware that they need to stop him, so they're bringing all the players to do so.
Wagstaff breaks it up at midfield, sets it to Murtaugh. Joey puts it to the left foot, score! Oh, he possumed him with the right foot, and then he went short side. Detroit has the lead back.
As I said earlier, it's going to be Joey Murtaugh's game, essentially, to win or lose. He's the guy who can do it, and he's put these guys to sleep with some of his moves, and a quick dance to his left, and banks it home on the short side against P.J. Johns.
Andy Wagstaff broke up the pass at midfield and quickly found Murtaugh. He'll get the assist.
Joey Murtaugh working the right side, cuts the ball back, and slips it near side. Johns, you can see, was off balance, back on his heels there, and was not able to recover in time. He's back on his heels, right there.
Murtaugh's ace of the year has put the Neon on top 4-3. Andy Wagstaff had appeared in 13 games this season and had no points. He has a goal and an assist tonight.
And just give these young guys the time to play, build their confidence, and they can do the work. They can do the work on this ball club, that's for sure.
Wagstaff joining McCall with a 2-point night as the Neon again have the lead back 4-3. Harmon clearing it out of his zone. Clears to the center circle at midfield. Jason Davis has it for Pittsburgh. They mentioned they didn't want to get behind this team early or really at any juncture because Pittsburgh plays such good defense, and the Neon have thus far stayed away from just that. They have never trailed in this game.
Handball on Earl Paris there as he was getting in the way of Drago moving the ball forward towards the goal. Unfortunate for Earl, he made a nice defensive play. The ball hit up, bounced up and hit him inadvertently in the arm, thus the call.
A balloon was loose on the field, and the problem is alleviated by David Moxham, who just steps on it, and he didn't make any friends with the children whose balloon it was, but the balloon had been given back to the kids one time, and they just put it right back on the field, so hard to really blame Moxham as Drago's free kick deflected right on goal, and Kluba had to make the save.
What a dangerous situation that could have been.
Now falling down at midfield, Harmon loses the ball. Here's Drago into the Detroit arc, and from behind, catching him to clear it away was Terry Rowe.
Great play by Terry, because when Drago went to his left, he left both defenders standing. He had a good opportunity to shoot there, but Terry coming from behind, a stellar defensive play there.
Moxham brings it into the Detroit end. He's walled off by McCall. No call, and the ball trickles through to Kluba.
Yeah, I need to slow down the pace of the game a little bit, get their numbers together, and try and work the ball to get what they want offensively. Let's not be in a hurry at this point.
Bobby Harmon holding it at midfield, now turns back and regains a little of that calm as he leaves it for John Kluba.
And then, yeah, I need to bring a player into the middle of the field, in the midfield, in order to receive a ball and not end up with a situation where they need to pass the ball just long again and not have much of an opportunity to score with it.
Well, that's what Kluba did, and it didn't work to Chapman. Now Sanchez back into the Detroit end. He's got a lot of room, fires his shot. Rebound comes right back to him, and Bobby Harmon got in the way as he blocked that.
Well, I really like the fact that Kluba got his arm on that.
Now Crawford ahead finds Chapman, who just spun and one-timed it, if you will, but P.J. Johns was there.
Boy, P.J. Johns does not give up anything easy. He snapped that ball like an alligator would snap a piece of meat.
And he has swept away 22 Neon shots thus far in this game. John Kluba credited with barely half that many saves.
Well, when you play against a team that doesn't have a lot going offensively as the Stingers, obviously they're the lowest scoring team in the league, you know Johns is going to be very active. But night in and night out, he's there, and he's played a tremendous amount of minutes at the age of 38. And has done a nice job here tonight to keep the Stingers in this ball game.
Kenny Pryor, who has one of the 3 Pittsburgh goals. Drago has the other 2. Sends it across for Moxham, now down low for Yarush. Yarush tried to move it back up the boards. Murtaugh broke that up, then it came into the arc, and Crawford dribbles through traffic and then gets run over by, well, runs over Drago, who will be credited with the foul.
Stingers have 3 major offensive threats, Drago and Pryor and Kia. We have not seen Kia yet. As of tonight, they've done a nice job of stopping him. Here's Crawford trying to bust up the middle, and Drago steps in and fouls Crawford, and now they go over and hug and shake, which is nice.
Well, it was that last move, perhaps, sticking his right leg in there that cost Drago. Crawford was trying to steer away from him, but he got enough in the way to get steamrolled. Now Hormos sets the free kick down the right side for Murtaugh and gets it right back. 6:40 to go. Time is not a factor as yet. Detroit has a 1-goal lead, and the home run over the top doesn't get to Chapman. Now Wagstaff, with help from Crawford, works it up the left side.
And you can feel the Stinger players are much more aware of Andy Wagstaff at this juncture in the game. He has 2 points, a goal and assist. They're not going to let him roam so freely as they did earlier in the ballgame.
Wagstaff trying to tackle it away from Moxham as it came up the near side, then almost took it away from him as he came back, but he overran it. Whitman down the right side finds Yarush in the Detroit end. He jams it off the boards, and covering in the arc was Steve McCall, who seems to have been there most of the night. Ahead for Earl Paris, who almost got tangled with Johnston, and instead leaves it back for Joe Murtaugh. To the right corner for Chapman, and right into the arc, and Murtaugh one-timed it, but just missed the mark.
Joey was able to get his left foot on it. His momentum was carrying him the opposite way, almost made an incredible goal there. It was an amazing shot that he got off. In fact, he could just touch that ball at all.
Kenny Pryor bumped hard into the boards by Steve McCall. And the Neon, an unfortunate break, pick up a foul here because Pryor had just sent it around the boards and Kluba had easily trapped it. Detroit had possession.
And Chapman hooked him one time, did not get him, and Steve pins him against the boards, but it seemed to be after the ball was kicked.
And up holding a side of it was Pryor, but Pittsburgh now will signal for a timeout as they have a very important free kick forthcoming in the Detroit end.
That's right. This could be the most important free kick up to this point in the ballgame with just 5 minutes or so left. This is a good scoring chance for them.
Detroit clinging to a 1-goal lead.
Brower, show us your bait.
I catch more fish with Bassmaster than anything else. Bassmaster keeps me up on the latest strategies and techniques for finding and catching more fish more often.
Hey, Shaw Grigsby, show us your bait.
I wouldn't be caught fishing without Bassmaster magazine. This is where over 500,000 members of the Bass Angler Sportsman Society share their secrets for success.
It's what you know and where you go that counts on the water. As a member of Bass, I depend on the know-how I read in those 10 yearly issues of Bassmaster magazine. But you have to be a member of Bass in order to get it. Hey, you're a member, aren't you?
You're not?
An angler like you ought to be a Bass member. Come on and join us and start packing this in your tackle box.
Call 1-800-BASS-854 now to join Bass. With your $18 paid membership, you'll receive 10 issues a year of Bassmaster magazine, plus this free tackle pack with Berkeley's Glitter Power Worm, Pradco's Bomber Flat A, Berkeley's Trilene XL line, and a copy of Bass Baits. That's 1-800-BASS-854.
I just went through the toughest fight of my life. I gave up tobacco, smokeless tobacco, but I didn't give up chewing. Yeah, I cheated. I switched to Smoky Mountain Chew. It has no tobacco, but the taste sure fools you. At first, I mixed Smoky Mountain with my old chew, and then I'd swap out. Chew Smoky Mountain one time and my old one the next. And now I'm free of tobacco. And let me tell you, I don't miss it.
Randy quit, so can you. Order your Quit Snuff Kit today. Call 1-800-SMC-CHEW.
What it is, what it isn't. It is the arrival of the fittest, the new Toyota Tacoma. It isn't the same compact truck millions have known. It is better, better looking, with better performance. Better than Ford, Chevy, and Dodge from 0 to 60. Loaded and unloaded. One more thing. It is a great time to see your Toyota dealer to get your best deal on a new Tacoma.
A song that many would wish would go away.
Not in Detroit. The song will never go away in Detroit.
Assisted by all of his young helpers, as they had a good time in midfield during our last time out.
Good crowd on hand here tonight to see Drago's return, and I would suspect it'll be a great crowd again when Dallas comes to town with Patu and David Doyle.
5:20 remains in the game. Pittsburgh down by 1, working it into the Detroit end. Pryor apparently shaking it off, takes a long shot, blocked on the way. Pittsburgh had a lot of traffic in front of the Detroit net. Cleared away, and Corwin's clean behind the defense. Small wants to pick his spot. He missed the mark, and P.J. Johns got on the carom. That would have gone a long way and perhaps putting Detroit out of striking distance.
Good play to spring Noel Corwin in that situation. Good counterattack on the ground from the defensive end up into the attack, and P.J. Johns did a terrific job there to take that ball off the board.
Well, I think what Paul Child has told his team during the timeout is time is now a factor. They had a lot of players down low in the Detroit end, and that's what helped enable Corwin to get behind the D. He was behind the D from the Detroit side of midfield. Around the boards, Kluba traps it, but a foul whistled against Detroit's Terry Rowe will keep possession for Pittsburgh. 4:27 remains.
And Neon need to be careful here not to excite the referees, because you don't want an unnecessary penalty of 1 goal late in the ball game.
The only power play of the game has been Pittsburgh's, and they cashed in on it just a couple of seconds into the power play.
Once again, Drago's going to trigger this free kick opportunity, and it looks to me like they're going to be going to Moxham possibly, or Pryor coming across the top.
Leite is hanging out high. He'll take the pass and left puts it way wide of the mark, then goes after the carom. Drago sets it back to midfield. Moxham takes a look, but it one hops into the Detroit bench. They're going to rule off a Detroit deflection. Pittsburgh will retain possession.
And I think that went off of Earl Paris. Earl once again standing very close to Drago.
And the official getting an earful as he stands in front of the Detroit bench. As the Neon, of course, lobbying to have possession of that ball. Corwin will give chase as it's played back to P.J. Johns. The Pittsburgh keeper gave it away through midfield. Crawford shoots at the empty net, but he missed the mark.
Good play by Crawford there. Nobody in front of him. Why not take a shot? The goal's wide open. Unfortunately, he didn't get a better shot at it.
Long shot by Moxham comes into the Detroit arc, and Harmon calmly clears it away on one hop off the dasher to midfield. Stingers move it right back in. Leite with now inside 4 minutes to go. Working the right side, being marked by McCall, takes it top of the arc, now leaves it for Jason Davis. Long shot is high in the crowd, and the Neon will get possession back. That went into the suite level here at the Palace. And Detroit's John Kluba will put it back into play.
And the Neon do not want to get caught just playing defense this juncture in the ballgame. They need to get the ball in the other end of the field and take some of the pressure off of John Kluba.
Long down the right side, Kluba trying to feed it to Chapman, but that won't work, and Whitman will leave it for P.J. John. He chips it to midfield. Leite trying to touch it for Alan Hom, broken up by Hormoz, who does a nice job to touch it to Crawford, then get it back on the give and go. He's got Chapman behind the defense. Gives it to him. He's alone on P.J. Johnson. He drove it right into the keeper. Wagstaff at midfield leaves it for Hormoz, who sends it back for Kluba. Kluba long over the top, finds Chapman. Andy left puts it right on, but as you mentioned, P.J. Johns plays so good positionally, that was easy.
P.J.'s checking some of his equipment there. I wonder if he's okay. Johnston did not move the ball forward to make sure P.J. was ready to play there.
3 minutes to go as Johnston played it in off the edge of the top of the dasher. It shot to the front of the arc and cleared away quickly. Crawford found Murtaugh. Murtaugh trying to squeeze it through as Paris was streaking down the left side, but he overlet him, and Johns intercepted it. Back through midfield, Crawford has his hand on Drago, who turns on him. Chris tried to tackle it away, but it'll come right to Jason Davis. Davis into the Detroit end, didn't find anybody, and now Crawford chips it into the Pittsburgh bench inadvertently. We'll have an official's timeout. Just 2:36 remains in regulation. The Detroit Neon have a 4-3 lead over Pittsburgh.
Welcome to the Redneck Choice Awards, brought to you by Showtime's You Might Be a Redneck If, starring Jeff Foxworthy. And here's Bud Reitman.
Hey, folks, your ballots are in, so let's get to the awards. Our first category is Best Redneck Video. Let's look at top nominee Jeff Foxworthy for You Might Be a Redneck If.
If your richest relative buys a new house and you have to help take the wheels off of it, you might be a redneck. If you've ever taken a beer to a job interview, if you refer to the 5th grade as my senior year, you might be a redneck.
And the winner is Jeff Foxworthy.
Woo! I can't believe it!
Hey, I checked the envelope. You won them all.
I don't have to tour the whole country. Hey, wait, I could just sell my Showtime video, You Might Be a Redneck If, through this special TV offer. It's only $19.95, so call now to order.
Performance car, but Bell Tire wants you to remember that if you don't have high-performance tires, it changes everything. So come to Bell Tire for the right tire, like the Kelly Charger SR, starting at just $46.99. With Kelly tires from Bell Tire, you'll notice a big difference. And so will everyone else.
Hey, nice tires.
Bell Tires, American Car Care Centers.
Hormoz working the ball down the sideline. He's going to find Andy Chapman all by his lonesome with P.J. Johns. Andy's got time. He looks, and P.J. Johns snuffs him very quickly. Some of the highlights of being in the Palace on a Saturday night.
2:36 remain in a 4-3 Detroit lead. From the front of the Pittsburgh bench, now wearing the 6th attacker uniform, is Drago. The Stinger net is empty.
That's rather unusual. He's been with them for 3 or 4 games now, and he's their 6th attacker. It didn't take him long to put Drago in a very important role on this team.
Leite at the top of the arc, rags it back for Drago. Pryor almost has it taken away, now does. Bobby Harmon will shoot at the empty net, but he'll miss. Drago and Earl Paris, the race is on to get to this one, and Drago just playing it away from the speedy Paris. Now he heads back upfield with it. It's bouncing a bit on him, but he'll dribble it to the right side. Jammed off the glass, came to the front, and a good job by Corwin to head it away because Keel was right there.
Boy, this is a situation the Neon have not been in that I can remember all season long, having to face the 6th attacker.
Sent in front, Corwin clears it away. Pryor sent it in front, and Whitman deflected it. It came back to Kluba, who sends it the length of the field towards the empty net. This will trickle wide. And it will also be, no, it was not a three-line violation. I wasn't sure for a moment if it was.
Steve McCall stopped that ball from going in the net. He's played a tremendous game, been on the offensive and the defensive end all night long.
Leite moves it low for Kia. A buck and a half to go. Long shot is underneath. Kluba underneath a bunch of players. Leite got to it but couldn't get a shot away. And Bobby Harmon just sends it to the open left side, but one hopped it into the Pittsburgh bench.
That ball was laying there for an eternity. Time stop while that ball was in front of the goal.
A bad break for Detroit. Harmon just wanted to clear it away, and he put it into the Pittsburgh bench. Now Leite laying on Jerry Rowe, who tackled it away from him and picks up the foul.
Terry Rowe, he figured, let's slow down the pace of this ball game a little bit. You see Drago tried to play the ball in, and the ref blocked it.
And a little frustration for the bald one. A buck 15 remains in the game, and also milked another second off the clock as the clock operator started it for a moment. Drago will put it into play now. To the corner, headed across the arc by Kia, and unable to get all of the melon on it was Marcio Leite. And it deflects off a Pittsburgh player out of play, so Detroit will get possession with just a minute 9 remaining. And Steve McCall will put it into play for the Neon. Through the middle. Trying to get it over the top to Chapman. Tries to bicycle kick it and picks up the foul as it bounces wide of the empty net anyway.
And he had plenty of time. He could have set that ball down and turned with it perhaps. Instead he tries something super fancy that he's known for, but unsuccessfully this time.
And Detroit losing possession. Drago moves it to the right side. Sanchez gives it back to him. Less than a minute to go in the game. Drago moves it to Leite to the right side. Sanchez has it knocked away. Came back to Leite, who sends it to the near corner. Kia waits there. Wanted to get it back to Pryor. He spun it up the boards. Pryor wasn't on the dasher boards, and he has to run it down. Now Pryor being watched and played well positionally by Chapman, who took away the passing lane. Does get it ahead for Kia. Back for Drago. 35 seconds remain. Pittsburgh perhaps in their last gasp. Across for Kenny Pryor on the left side. Low for Kia. Steers it right on. Kluba made the save, but he didn't control it. Comes back off of Kia into the arc, and it's sent over the top by McCall. 3 hops back into the Pittsburgh zone. Drago runs it down. Inside 20 seconds to go. Forget the empty net. The Neon just want to lose 15 more seconds on the clock. Drago to Kia. Right on. The rebound lay right in front and deflected away by Kluba as Whitman had a chance. Now it went through Kia. Back to Pryor. He hit the crossbar. 5 seconds remain as it bounces out high. The battle on the far board sees it spun around. Kluba traps it. The horn will sound as time has expired. And now some shoving as Kluba ended up under the pile. Whitman and McCall exchanging blows, but the clock has expired and the game is over. Both benches have cleared, and all players are inside the Detroit penalty arc. And still trying to keep Tim Whitman away from Steve McCall are a number of different players, and now some cooler heads are prevailing and some handshakes are going on. Kluba got run over.
And you can see he's bleeding at this point. Kluba got kicked repeatedly on that play by Whitman. Steve McCall was there to defend his goalie. And great game at the end there by Kluba. See, Kluba goes into the boards face first for that ball and stays there.
Yeah, he smothered it, and he knew he had less than 5 seconds. All he had to do was hold it, and the game was over. And he ended up getting a couple in the kisser. But John will tell you it's worth it. He's won his 2nd straight, and the Neon have won 2 of their last 3.
It's nice to see Johnson come over to him and ask him if he was okay on the Stingers there.
And Detroit's players will do a victory lap. They have won 2 of their last 3 and 2 of 3 here on this homestand, and you can see the head jerking back of John Kluba as Whitman gave it to him right in the kisser as the clock expired. And Detroit has defeated Pittsburgh tonight at the Palace by a final score of 4-3.
Birthday parties.
It's an amazing feat. And of course, it's Price Pfister who engineered it. A never-before fusion of style, technology, and price. Featuring a fantastic lifetime valve that makes fail-proof faucets both possible and affordable. So fail-proof, they'll work flawlessly forever. Fail-proof, affordable, forever yours, Price Pfister. The fabulous faucet with the funny name.
Something happens when you read the Wall Street Journal every business day. You start seeing opportunities where you never saw them before. See for yourself. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal. The Journal keeps you right at the heart of what's going on in business. Call now for the Journal and get your free guide to planning your financial future. Facts you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free. Call now toll free. 800-233-2700. That's 800-233-2700.
On Channel 11 News at 6, we talk a lot about neighborhood news. I want to know what's going on close to home. That's where we live. On Channel 11 News at 6, you'll find a neighborhood story around every corner.
Local kids doing good things for the neighborhood and their community.
It's warm, it's from the heart. Looking for neighborhood news coverage you can count on?
Pittsburgh is my community.
I care what's going on right here in my city. Look to Channel 11 News at 6 for more news, for more neighborhoods, more often.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Of plans. So no matter what you choose, you can still be blue. And that can make you feel pretty good. You feel better if you're blue.
Am I blue?
Detroit Neon Indoor Soccer was brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Millman Durr Center for Eye Care, a total eye care facility. Farmer Jack, it's always savings time at Farmer Jack. Bell Tire's American Car Care Centers. The best in the business is now the biggest, too. American Airlines. American Airlines is proud to be the official airline of the Detroit Neon. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. You feel better if you're blue. The Oakland Press. No one knows Oakland County better than the Oakland Press. To subscribe, call 1-800-DELIVER. And by Speedway, the convenience store of Speedway.
Well, they have to pick up the streamers at the Palace tonight because the Neon are 4-3 winners over the Pittsburgh Stingers. And time now to look at our offensive and defensive players of the game, brought to you by Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge. Our Chrysler Plymouth offensive player of the game with a goal and an assist tonight. His first points of the season, ironically, is Andy Wagstaff. Our Dodge defensive player of the game also had a goal and an assist, but he really stayed home in front of his own net, Steve McCall. Tonight's players of the game brought to you by Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge, the official title sponsors of the Detroit Neon. Well, maybe too many cooks in the kitchen all season for the Neon, but suddenly they've got things going. They've won 2 of their last 3, including tonight's win, and they won it with defense.
They did. They only gave up a single goal in the second half of this ballgame, a team that's been outscored by some 57 goals all season long. It just goes to show you that the young players on this ball club can play this game.
Detroit gets the win over the Pittsburgh Stingers. Our final at the Palace this evening, 4-3. Joel and I will be back with more after this from the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Hey, Denny Brower, show us your bait.
I catch more fish with Bassmaster than anything else. Bassmaster keeps me up on the latest strategies and techniques for finding and catching more fish more often.
Hey, Shaw Grigsby, show us your bait.
I wouldn't be caught fishing without Bassmaster magazine. This is where over 500,000 members of the Bass Angler Sportsman Society share their secrets for success.
It's what you know and where you go that counts on the water. As a member of Bass, I depend on the know-how I read in those 10 yearly issues of Bassmaster magazine. But you have to be a member of Bass in order to get it. Hey, you're a member, aren't you?
You're not?
An angler like you ought to be a Bass member. Come on and join us and start packing this in your tackle box.
Call 1-800-BASS-854 now to join Bass. With your $18 paid membership, you'll receive 10 issues a year of Bassmaster magazine, plus this free tackle pack with Berkley's Glitter Power Worm, Pradco's Bomber Flat A, Berkley's Trilene XL line, and a copy of Bass Baits. That's 1-800-BASS-854.
Majors Bowling, seen exclusively on Bass Sports.
Really, one of the biggest shots that he's ever thrown.
A perfect game has been thrown. Watch the drama and the excitement on Michigan Majors Bowling, Sunday afternoon exclusively on Fast Sports, the source for Michigan sports.
Jax can give your car that new car look without a new car price. Motor cleaning, waxing, interior cleaning, carpet shampoo, and vinyl top cleaning are all available at the Jax Detail Center.
Michigan's source for sports news, live on Paz, weeknights at 6.
The Lions need to bounce back against the Vikings. Lions coach John Tierlink gives us his inside analysis. A new era begins at Michigan State. Plus, the Cup Quest starts again. Sports Final Edition, Sunday at 11:30, only on WDIV-TV Channel 4 in Detroit.
An emotional victory for the Detroit Neon this evening at the Palace of Auburn Hills as they outlast the Pittsburgh Stingers by a final of 4-3. John Allers along with Joel Epstein back with you. And you talk about this season, and it's so much of what might have been for the Neon, but a very emotional win for them this evening. And it meant a lot to beat Pittsburgh and Drago with his return, didn't it?
And they did a nice job of containing Drago, although he did score 2 goals. One was a bit of a controversy, although on the replay it did look like that ball went into the net. But you know, this was an emotional victory because the fact that Drago has been a part of this team since its inception. He was traded to Pittsburgh 10 days ago, his return here, but the young guys really showed what they could do, and they did a nice job of rising to the occasion and coming home with a victory here.
Well, it was 3-3 heading into the fourth quarter, a very low-scoring second half, as was the case throughout the entire game, but the Neon get the game winner. Joe Murtaugh from Andy Wagstaff at 5:28, so relatively early in the quarter, and then they shut Pittsburgh down defensively as they did the entire quarter and hold on for the 4-3 victory. The stats had evened up after 3 quarters of play, and I think as we're going to look at the final stats, we're going to see that they remained pretty much dead even.
You can see there was not a lot of midfield play in this ballgame with all those shots. It's interesting to see the Neon up on shots on goal. We don't see that too often this season, but that's a good sign. And the fouls, Pittsburgh was holding on to the Neon all night long and keeping them from scoring in the scoring opportunities during this ball game. So the Neon come out on top in a great victory. And Joey Murtaugh, we talked about it earlier, he was going to be the man, and he was the man.
And you talk about, I know one of your pet peeves is neutral zone or midfield unforced errors or giveaways. What we don't see there at the tail end of Murtaugh's goal is the fact that it was an unforced error in the midfield that was taken away by Andy Wagstaff, and he set up Murtaugh. What a game for Wagstaff. As Murtaugh got the game winner, you have to really be happy for Wagstaff and talk about his performance because he emerged this evening.
He did, and he had the opportunity to play a lot. And when he did that, and when he cut across the middle of the field, he's a guy who can settle that ball down and turn and go with it. And he's very fast. He's a short guy, and unlike many sports, he's a very small guy, and a very small guy in soccer makes it hard to guard. Big guys like John or I are easier because it takes us a longer time to get going. Andy can turn on a dime. You can see McCall here is going to make the play. He's going to stuff that ball twice. Andy cleans it up just like he's done in practice so many times. He's been a great practice player all season long, and he gets on the board.
And you talk about the emotion again, Joel, as we see the celebration there, you can tell. Not only maybe a fan favorite with some of the pockets of the fans that have seen Andy play in some of his 14 games this year, he's a favorite on this team. The players were just as happy as he was to see him get his first goal.
When you have a player who works so hard and hasn't had much playing time, never complains, comes to work every day with his lunch pail, and now he's starting to emerge because he's getting that time, and he's starting to learn the indoor game, you've got to give him credit where credit is due. Andy Chapman has had faith in him all along and has sort of weaned him into the professional indoor game. And Andy, it worked out well. And you can see Andy hugging Wagstaff after that goal like it was father and son almost. Yeah, both guys from England.
Easy for you to say Andy and Andy. Well, the Neon do it also without the services this evening of Steve Kinsey, who continues to nurse a knee injury. He's missed the last 2 games. And without Ian Fairbrother. So again, you put all that youth out on the field, and not only do they get a victory out of it, they've won 2 of their last 3 now, but also they have some building blocks as they look ahead to Dallas on Thursday.
Well, and that's a very important thing because obviously you're going to bring in the most experienced team in all of indoor soccer with Tattoo and David Doyle. These guys know how to score goals, and they know how to keep teams off the scoreboard. So this will be a real test for the young Neon players, and we'll see next Thursday on Pass once again if the Neon can do it.
It should be a well-rested Detroit Neon club as well. Detroit playing tonight, their only game of this week, and by the time they come around to play Dallas, perhaps some of those injuries have healed a little bit as Fairbrother still nurses the hamstring and Kinsey with the knee because it'll only be their 2nd game in nearly 2 full weeks.
Well, that's right, and we talked to Ian before the ball game, and he was saying last weekend it was what really hurt him because he had to play back-to-back nights. Now, they'll play Thursday, then again on the weekend, but he'll have some time, and so he should be able to heal and be ready to go against Dallas on Thursday.
Well, the Neon get the win this evening at the Palace, a close-fought game. They never trailed. They were tied in the fourth, but they pull it out. Our final score, the Detroit Neon 4 and the Pittsburgh Stingers 3. For Joel Epstein, this is John Aller saying thanks for being with us this evening, and good night, everybody.